My name is Dr. Glenn Moody. I'm the principal of KTJ. I've been at the school since August 2018. Before that, I spent 20 years working in independent education in the UK, most recently as the head of an independent day and boarding school in the UK. So at KTJ, our philosophy of education is what we call holistic, which means all-round education. We live in a global village where students applying for graduate jobs are competing with people from all over the world. And having good grades might get your foot in the door, but it's not enough. It's about what else you can offer. So that means all students are encouraged to take part in extracurricular activities, to take on leadership opportunities, to do community service, and to really become good global citizens and leaders. But there's also another reason for that, and that's because education is not just about preparing students for employment. It's also about preparing them for life more generally. And we want our students to lead a happy and balanced life. And part of that is taking a broad view and developing all areas of their character. I think it's difficult to pinpoint one moment.
Yeah.
I think I find every day is rewarding. The most rewarding part is, of course, spending time with students. And that's something that I've always found rewarding throughout my career. I think the advantage of working in a boarding school, as I have for most of my career, is you often get to engage with students in ways that you wouldn't in a day school, and to talk to them about their hobbies or their interests or what they do in the holidays. And I think those sort of times where you can have those casual conversations with students, perhaps about nothing to do with school, are some of the most rewarding. So I think for all students when they first join a boarding school, there are some challenges and there might be some homesickness. That usually disappears within a few weeks, and what we try and do in the first few weeks in terms of dealing with homesickness is keep students very busy. We also work closely with the parents so that they understand when is the best time to contact their child, so that they don't do anything to exacerbate the situation during those early weeks. But I've often found it's actually the parents who find it more difficult than the students in those first weeks. I think there are additional challenges, obviously, for students who are moving to another country as well. And we're very acutely aware of those, and we have well-trained staff who are there on hand 24/7 to support students and parents when they need it. We mainly follow a British curriculum, which involves IGCSE and A-levels. And that curriculum is based on gradually narrowing down your range of subjects as students start to understand what they're interested in. So that's part of the process. Once students get to the sixth form, so they're studying for A-levels, there's a very skilled team of experts who help to guide them in finding out where they might want to go to university, what they might want to do at university, and then guides them through the process of applying for those courses and preparing them for interviews, for tests, and for other elements which they might need to do as part of that admission process. So most of our students are applying to the UK or the US, and we have specialists who deal with students applying for those countries. But we do also have students applying to Australia, Korea, Singapore, Thailand, all over the world in fact. Yeah, so bullying is something that all schools have to deal with. And it is an issue that will always arise where you have teenagers. I think when people think of bullying in a boarding school, they often think of it as physical. And that's something that is extremely rare or pretty much unheard of at KTJ. I think the sort of bullying that we do encounter from time to time, and it's not very common, is online, cyber bullying. We do have a very clear anti-bullying policy, which is on our website, published for everyone. And we do a lot of work in education with both with staff, students and parents actually about bullying. We have a team of teachers who are very skilled at guiding the students, and they don't ever think that they know everything. They continue to learn. University admissions is something that's constantly evolving and changing, and we dedicate a lot of time to keeping up to date with that and to responding to those changes. And I think that ensures that we're always at the forefront of what's happening in university admissions. At IGCSE level, so that's year 10 and 11 as you say, students will have a lot of guidance from their teacher and there will be a lot of structure in the day. And so at KTJ that even includes things such as a homework timetable that helps to direct their private study. Once students enter the sixth form, they start to take more responsibility for their own learning. And so one of the things we're doing during those IGCSE years is preparing students for that and getting them ready for that time when they do have to direct their own study to a greater degree. And then of course during A level, we're then preparing students for the fact that when they get to university, they'll have even more freedom and they'll be even more responsible for their own education. So it's a gradual process and it involves gradually removing the sort of scaffolding, as it were, the support that we provide, but still having safety nets in place and still having monitoring in place to ensure that any student who is struggling or needs extra support will get it. Well, we have a good number of students who join us at KTJ every year from Korea, and they enrich the lives of everyone at KTJ very much. I'd have two pieces of advice. The first would be, it might take some time to get used to living in another country, and that is something that some students might find hard in the first few weeks. But I think when students persevere and understand that it does get better very quickly, and they do start to feel like KTJ is a second home very quickly as well. I think the second piece of advice that I give is that KTJ is a school to choose if you're interested in an all-round education for your child. We do achieve very good academic results, but we do expect that students will play a full part in all aspects of life in the school. And that's because, as I explained earlier, we believe that's the best preparation for their careers and for life.